Day. Today I'm going to start with a new chapter. This is Elements, Compounds and Mixtures according to ICSE syllabus class 8. Okay. So we first come to the introduction part of this chapter. So we know that are of two types. Substances are of two types. That is pure substance and impure substance. And pure substance again is divided into two types. That is elements and compounds. And impure substance is a type of mixture where there is some thing mixed with another substance, that is an impure substance. Okay, now elements is divided into four types. Okay, four types of elements are there. One is metal, another one is non one is metalloids, and the fourth type of element is inert or noble gases. Okay, now compounds, they may be organic or inorganic. Okay, then mixtures are again of two types. One is homogeneous mixture, another is heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so this is a flow chart of this chapter, that is the substance, which is divided into such branches, you can say, or the divisions of a substance. Next we come to the what do we mean by pure substance? Now pure substances are those substances which have a definite chemical composition and a definite chemical and physical properties. Okay, so the substances which have a definite chemical composition and definite chemical and physical properties, they all are pure substances. Generally, these type of substances are homogeneous in nature. For example, say gold, sodium chloride, etc. These are all pure substances. Now, when we come to impure substances, the substances which are made up of two or more elements or compounds, they are not chemically bonded. Okay, here there is not bonding, or I mean no chemical bonding between the constituent of the substance, constituent of the impure substances. Okay, and they do not particularly have these definite chemical or physical properties. The substances which are present in the impure substance, which are making these impure substances, they have their own characteristics. Okay, now when we come to elements, these elements are pure substances, okay, which cannot be broken into two or more simpler substances by any known physical or chemical means. By any physical or chemical means, known physical or chemical means cannot break this element into more simpler substances. Okay, they are made up of only one kind of atoms, and known elements are 118, out of which 82 are normal elements and 36 are radioactive elements. Okay, now we come to compounds. Now compounds are also pure substances, and they are composed of two or more elements which are combined chemically in a fixed proportion by weight. See, here there is a combination, that is chemically combined. Okay, they are combining chemically and they are in fixed proportions by weight and can be broken into smaller substances or elements by chemical methods only. Okay, now we come to the definition of mixtures. Mixtures are substances. Again, here see, two or more substances are combining. So it may be elements or compounds or both. And but here the proportions are not fixed. They are mixed together, but their proportions are not fixed and they are not chemically combined. Okay, so they retain, so that's why they can retain their characteristics. The constituent of the mixtures, they can retain their characteristics. Okay, next we come to homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixtures are those mixtures in which the various components which are present in the mixture, they are mixed uniformly. Okay, then heterogeneous are substances. These are mixtures in which the various constituents are not mixed uniformly. Okay, Like homogeneous mixture, for example, say sugar solution. The sugar is mixed with water in I mean, when it is mixed with water, the sugar particles are present in the water in a uniform manner, whereas in heterogeneous mixtures, example maybe sand, you can say. The sand, the constituents of the sand is not only silica but some other substances like mud is also there. Then some dust particles are also there, some metals, some minerals are also there. So these are in not mixed uniformly. Okay. Then organic compounds, these are compounds, it's not, I mean, say this heterogeneous mixture that can be like when I told you the example of sand, that's not the pure sand which is a pure silica. Okay, so that is a mixture of uh, different kinds of elements or compounds. Okay, then organic compounds are those compounds in which in solid, liquid or gaseous state, okay, that contains carbon in its molecule, that has carbon in its molecule, combining covalently, that is bond which is making with the other elements, that is covalent bond with hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen. So carbon has to be there, carbon combining with hydrogen, nitrogen or oxygen, but covalently. Okay, this bonding will later on discuss. Okay, in you will be getting this bonding in your higher classes. So inorganic compounds are those compounds which do not contain this carbon hydrogen bond or carbon carbon bonds. Okay, inorganic compounds, they do not have this carbon hydrogen bond or carbon carbon bonds. Okay, next we come to the characteristics of elements. So what are the characteristics of elements? The element has to be pure substance that is made up of only one kind of atoms. An atom of each element differ in the properties from the atom of the other element. Then, except during nuclear reactions, an element cannot be broken into two or more smaller parts. So, element cannot be broken into two or more smaller parts by any physical or chemical means. Only nuclear reactions can break them. Okay, now an element is composed either of individual atom or of molecules made up of atoms. Okay, one atom it can be, or it can be molecules made up of atoms. Then an atom is the smallest unit of an element. Okay, an atom is the smallest unit of an element that shows all the properties of the element. Elements may occur in the free state in nature, or they may be found in the form of compounds, in the form of their compounds. Okay, some elements can be prepared artificially by nuclear reactions. They are homogeneous in nature, as it is a pure substance, only one kind of atom is there, so it's a homogeneous mixture, homogeneous in nature. They have fixed melting and boiling points, and they can react chemically with other elements and compounds. Okay, next we come to certain other characteristics of the elements. Elements can be classified into four classes, that is metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. First we come to metals. Metals are most known elements are metals. So the metals are the most known elements on the earth. They are monoatomic. They are monoatomic. There is one kind of atom only present in the metals. Most of them are hard solid. For example, say magnesium, copper, silver, then iron, aluminium, gold, then sodium, potassium, etc. Then non-metals, most of them are polyatomic in nature. Non-metals have more than two or three or more atoms. Okay, polyatomic in nature, and they are very less in number as compared to the metals. Okay, only 11 are known, whereas in case of metals there are lots of metals are there on the and in case of non-metals only 11 are known. They exist in all three physical states: solid, liquid and gases. And for example, so oxygen, phosphorus, etc. Then metalloids, they are monatomic again, exhibit some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. Okay, they are hard solid. For example, say boron, arsenic, antimony, germanium, silicon, tellurium. Okay, And inert or noble gases, they are also monoatomic gases. They do not react chemically with other elements or compounds. That's why they are known as inert. Okay, they are found in the air in traces, for example, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. Okay, so next we come to the characteristics of a compound. Okay, now a compound is also a pure substance, and also they are in homogeneous in nature. For example, if one molecule of water contains hydrogen and oxygen in some fixed pattern. Okay, so hydrogen and oxygen is present in one molecule of water, so that has to be in fixed pattern, fixed proportion. Then all the molecules of water will contain hydrogen and oxygen combined with each other in the same pattern. Okay, then a compound contains atoms, two or more elements combined chemically in a fixed ratio by weight. So they have a fixed pattern, they have a fixed ratio. Okay, by weight, that is hydrogen and oxygen when combining together in the fixed ratio, that is 1:8 by weight, to form water. Then a chemical compound can be broken into two or more different elements by chemical means only. By chemical means only, they can be broken into two or more different elements. It can be synthesized from these elements by chemical means only. So example, water can be broken to hydrogen and oxygen, and the gases are so formed can be made again to form water by chemical means only, not by physical means. Okay, a chemical compound has a distinct set of properties. They have a distinct set of properties which do not resemble with the properties of its constituent elements, that totally differ from that of the constituent elements. Like for example, water is a colorless liquid which extinguishes fire, but hydrogen is a combustible gas and oxygen is a supporter of combustion. Again, both of them are gases. Hydrogen and oxygen are gases, whereas water is a liquid. Okay, then the elements of a compound cannot be separated mechanically, as during the formation of a compound the constituent elements lose their original properties, so the elements cannot be separated by any simple physical means. Okay, they cannot be separated mechanically, and their formation lose their original properties, so the elements cannot be separated by any simple physical means. Okay, now if example, it is not possible to separate hydrogen and oxygen by simple processes like heating, cooling, filtration, etc. And during the formation of a compound, energy is either absorbed or liberated. For example, sodium plus chlorine combines to form sodium chloride with the liberation of heat and light. Example, nitrogen and oxygen requires heat to combine. Around 3000 degrees centigrade is required to form nitrogen monoxide. Then compounds have different boiling and melting points. Okay, for example, water has boiling point 100 degrees centigrade and melting point at 0 degrees centigrade. Then compounds at a definite chemical formula, like water we call it H2O. For sodium oxide we call Na2O. So these have a definite chemical formula. Okay, so I'll stop here. I'll continue with the rest of the chapter in my next video. Please go through this. If you have any doubt, please do write in the comment box. Do share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And also do subscribe to get the notification of my next video. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for watching and have a good day.